My brutal broskies, super welcome to this video. Guys, March is looking like quite the interesting month when it comes to first-person shooter games, so I handpicked what I think looks the most interesting, and I'm about to show them to you, so I hope you enjoy. Crabmeat is a short first-person point-and-click survival horror game where you play as a prisoner that is forced to crab for priceless southern king crabs to pay off the debt to the feudal state. And yeah, that premise alone is already doing a lot for me personally. I really like that setting for some bloody weird reason. Now we also get to navigate the brutal Antarctic waters while defending our ship from whatever nasty things are lurking beneath the ice. And the whole thing just looks like a really sweet, short, atmospheric little horror experience. And yeah, despite being point and click in a lot of ways, it does have shooting as well. In the trailer we can see that we get a shotgun to fend off the creatures trying to crawl up from the deep. And that extra bit of action just makes the whole thing look even more tense. And I bloody like it. It also has a demo out right now, so you can actually give it a go before the full release, which I always appreciate. Demos for the win. More demos for the people. But more than anything else, I really hope that this game finds its audience, because it looks so goddamn charming while also being genuinely unsettling. The atmosphere looks super well done, and I also kinda love that they dared to call it Crabmeat. It's one of those names that sounds a little goofy at first, but then the game itself looks weirdly serious and unserious at the same time. And that just freaking makes me like it even more. Crabmeat drops on March 10th. And coming up next, we got Marathon. Yep, it's nothing like the good old Marathon from the 90s. This is Bungie's reimagining of it, published by Bungie themselves, who are owned by PlayStation. And this time around, it is an extraction PvEVP first-person shooter, and who in their right freaking mind thought that was the move to take to create a successful game? I genuinely do not know. Now, they had a beta back in 2025, and the feedback coming out of that was overwhelmingly negative. To their credit though, they did seem to listen to a lot of the feedback that they got. The world, it does look a lot more grittier now, a lot more brutal than before. It is still colorful and you can still spot some Marathon DNA in there, even if it is a very modern take to it. But at least it doesn't look like a child's game anymore. It actually looks like something made for grown-ups. Even though, let's be honest, it'll probably still be consumed by mostly 14-year-olds, if I had to guess at least. Now, me personally, I can't decide if I'm going to play this or not. I really do not know, so I need your help down in the comments. Should I give this one a spin and cover it on the channel, or should I save that slot for something completely different? Because a part of me thinks that the PvE actually looks pretty fun, but I really do not care much for the extraction and the PvP side of it. At the same time, I am curious to see how all the changes compares to the beta build that I actually did play when that was live. So help a broski out in the comments, will you? Now Marathon, it drops on March 5th, so this one is right around the corner. And coming up right after that is Wraith Ops, a game built around snappy gunplay, fast movement and objective-based combat with a real focus on teamwork and skill. This game, it has no grind, no gimmicks, just straight up infantry action where every fight is supposed to matter. It is being developed by Grassroots Studios and published by Team 17. And Team 17, they do have a pretty solid track record when it comes to publishing good first-person shooter games, like Trepang 2. Now this one is clearly going for that satisfying gunplay first and foremost, with team-based objective combat at the center of it all. And it also seems like it wants to be pretty unforgiving in a good way, where everything is designed to feed into the action instead of slowing it down. We're getting over 44 weapons in the first version of the game, plus gadgets, drones, throwable sights, muzzle devices, all that stuff. So there seems to be a decent amount to mess around with. But keep in mind, however, this is a PvP game, and we're also getting only 6 different levels to fight across. Exactly how all the progression, weapon upgrades, attachments and all that work, I'm not fully sure yet, but just like the other games on this list so far, this one also has a demo out, so we can actually give it a spin. And I'm not gonna lie, Team 17 publishing, it does make me more interested, because that name carries some weight to me. And from the trailers, it generally doesn't look half bad, not at all. That said though, I'm also just not a huge PvP guy these days. I'm turning 36 very soon, and the older I get, the less random PvP tends to tickle my nerve in a good way. But when the PvP is against the broskies, that's a whole different story. That can be hella fun, so join the Discord down below for future PvP events against me, myself and I, and of course the broskis. Wraith Ops drops on March 12th. Alright, next up is Iron Blight, and I just played the demo of this one since it is featured in Steam Next Fest. It doesn't have a more exact release date than just March 2026, so whether that means early March, late March, middle March, I got no clue. But after playing the demo, I can already tell that this is shaping up to be an absolute banger of a survival horror first-person shooter. This is one of those games where every bullet truly matters, and I love that. We got some scarcity in health, ammo and all that stuff, which a game like this truly needs to be tense. But what I like even more is that it also has immersive elements that actually makes you more immersed instead of just feeling tedious, boring or like they're getting in the way. Everything here feels like it adds to the experience rather than slow it down. Now the game, it throws us into a cold, rainy eastern block town and the setup is great. We found ourselves trapped in a room while abominations claw at the door, and with nowhere to run, we have to survive the feverish night, uncover whatever horrors are lurking in the shadows, and above all, find our wife, Valeria. It's a strong setup and the atmosphere in the demo really sells it. We also have an inventory system here and also a belt where we holster our weapons, which felt really nice in action. From the demo alone, it seems like we can carry 3 weapons at the same time, and while the inventory itself isn't something you directly upgrade, you can find bigger backpacks, so it expands naturally as you go. The gunplay also felt really solid, and the zombies in the demo were both varied and genuinely creepy. They do not go down easy, and that means that every single bullet better hit the head, because they absolutely matter in this one. Alright, coming up now is John Carpenter's Toxic Commando, developed by Saber Interactive and published by Focus Entertainment. Now Saber are also the folks behind the latest Painkiller thing, and that one went for a more COD zombie-style horde shooter with co-op and mission-based gameplay. And honestly, they didn't really nail that one. Painkiller did not need to be a co-op first-person shooter, it needed to be a proper single-player campaign first-person shooter. Simple as that. Now Toxic Commando does go down a somewhat similar road here, because Saber really seems to have a soft spot for co-op shooters. I do not know why, but they clearly do. That said, this one does look like a much better fit for it than Painkiller ever did. Here we got bigger hordes, a full zombie setting, and the whole thing just feels way more suited for chaotic co-op mayhem. The gunplay also looks really damn solid from what they have shown so far, and the enemies and the world around you also looks pretty good, as you move between different missions across what seems to be a semi-open map. So even though I got my doubts because of Saber's track record here, I can't lie, this one does look more promising. It also has a demo available right now, and I still haven't played it because time has just not been my friend lately. I've been starting up a new day job, and I simply haven't had the time to jump into all these awesome demos that keep dropping. But if you played it, let me know down in the comments, is this one worth giving a spin on the channel and covering it properly, or should I leave it alone? John Carpenter's Toxic Commando drops on March 12th. And now comes the one we have all been waiting for, Starship Troopers Ultimate Bug War. And yeah, this one has a demo out that I have actually played. It's developed by Roach Digital, the same folks who gave us Bolt Gun, that absolutely ass-kicking Warhammer boomer shooter that you should play if you haven't. Which means they already have my attention. And let me tell you, the demo for Starship Troopers also kicks major ass. It is, however, a bit different from your regular boomer shooter. Instead of just pushing through straight up levels, we get dropped into these open zones. They're not massive, but they're big enough to let you explore a bit, look for secrets, and tackle different objectives spread around the map. So each of the zones have multiple points of interest, multiple things to do, and of course the whole goal here is to defend the galaxy from the bugs. Yeah, those bugs. The demo, it takes place in this colorful holiday beach area, which is honestly a pretty great setting because it's super bright, super vibrant, and at the same time completely infested with disgusting alien bugs. And weapon-wise, we get to mess around with stuff like a shotgun, an assault rifle, a sniper, and on top of that, we also get turrets and mechs. Yeah, you heard that right. We got drivable freaking mechs. And that alone already puts a big ass smile on my face. Now when I played it during my Steam Next Fest stream, I was complaining a little bit about the dismemberment, because I really want to be able to blast a leg off of a bug while it's still alive and watch the thing keep crawling towards me in panic mode. Right now, from what I played, you can blow off limbs once they are dead, but I would love for that to happen mid-fight too. That said, outside of that little complaint, I thought that this was phenomenally fun. It really has a lot of what I want from a Starship Troopers first-person shooter, and the fact that it also features General Johnny Rico's original actor is just top-notch. It absolutely nails that Starship Troopers vibe, and I also really love the visual style, how it mixes sprites, 3D models and bright colors without losing the chaos. This is easily one of my most anticipated ones on this list. Starship Troopers Ultimate Bug War drops on March 16th. And next up is Galactic Vault, which is a proper first-person shooter roguelite where we clear room after room after room. Once a room is cleared, new doors open up, sometimes 1, sometimes 2, sometimes 3, and each one leads to different upgrades, mostly tied to your weapons, and this game can go absolutely bananas with those upgrades, because none of them replaces the other. They're all stacking on top of each other. So by the end of a run, you can turn into a deadly freaking machine carrying some completely absurd weaponry. But apart from that, what is actually good in this one, at least judging from the demo, is that the gunplay feels tight. And that matters a lot in a game like this. The enemies themselves are honestly super bland, super boring, and not memorable at all. But the weapons definitely are. Shooting feels good, combat feels good, and even if blasting these robots could feel even better with cooler enemy designs, it still works because the weapons are doing a lot of the heavy lifting here. What also surprised me is how soon this one is dropping, because the demo only just came out, and yet the full release is already right around the corner. It also has a hub world, which is actually pretty damn cool. In there we can unlock new weapons, permanent upgrades, and all that stuff you'd expect from a roguelite, but for a small indie team, it's a nice touch. What I am a little worried about though is the lack of environmental variety. Especially in the demo, everything had that very light grey spaceship look, and that gets boring really freaking fast. And unfortunately, I haven't really seen anything that suggests that there is a bunch of different environments later on. And I'm really hoping that there is, because the gameplay deserves more interesting places to happen in. Galactic Vault, it drops on March 10th. And last, and probably least as well, we got Mark of Cain, which is a cursed, fast-paced retro first-person shooter where we are immortal, hunted and mocked by meme-fueled demons. And yeah, that should already tell you exactly what kind of a ride this is. No seasons, no bullshit, just blood, jokes and pure arena chaos. It is being developed in the FPS engine, and I haven't played the demo yet, so I can't tell you for sure if it actually plays well, but from the Steam page alone, it does look like a much simpler kind of FPS, and honestly, that doesn't have to be a bad thing. Sometimes simpler is exactly what works. The description at least makes it sound like it could be a pretty fun time. We got 5 different weapon loadouts, secrets to find, blood flying everywhere, and apparently a healthy dose of dopamine, all inspired by the best bits of the 90s. It also has an original soundtrack made by the developer himself, and this is a solo dev project too, so you can tell that this one is not trying to be some ultra serious masterpiece. It's made to be dumb, fun, bloody, and something you laugh at while playing. And honestly, sometimes that is exactly what you need. After a rough week, when the weekend rolls around, a weird little unserious shooter like this can be the right kind of medicine. Mark of Cain drops on March 3rd. Thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. If you like what you saw today and want more stuff like it, remember to hit that subscribe. And if you just smidge a little bit on that like as well, it would mean a lot to me, because it simply does. I don't know exactly how the brain functions and how it connects a like to dopamine and everything like that, so it just does. It means a lot to me. So thank you if you do, and again, thank you for watching all the way to the end, and I will see you in the next one. Over and out.